the beginning of the 21st year of our production here. 21st year, Susie, tonight.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
The effort of John Karhoff and Mike Peterson and all my colleagues here, and the wonderful job they have been doing over the years. And we are so honored to have Susie Poulton, the Director of Health. You have many hats, you have many titles, but let me use Director of Health and Student Service.
Sure. Great.
And go from there and give you the floor for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And I think you brought a video too that we are going to see at the end of this episode,
Yes,
right?
yes.
For about 6 minutes.
Yes.
That shows a lot of your activities,
Yeah.
right? So can you give the audience, I know that it is difficult, but try to simplify it. How do you run your day? You get up in the morning, you go to your office, and then what?
Well, in my position, I oversee anything related to health services, mental health services, social emotional learning, and even some student safety things. So my day is really varied. A lot of it is just checking in with staff, first of all, making sure that all the needs of our students with special health needs, that they're covered. So we have staff in place to take care of them every day. That's probably the first thing I do. And then go from there. And it's all about making sure that things are in place so that students can come to school and be ready to learn. And it's kind of those extra things that we do.
So you do the medical care, medical
Yes.
service,
Yes.
and the psychological, psychiatric service, and of course the pediatrics, it's part of the medical.
Right.
And then you do the safety one, which is the physical safety
Yes.
and security. And all those, how do you like entwine all those together or weave them all together in order to make a productive day? Because if I don't want to be in your shoes, Susie, seriously. I mean, this is a tremendous responsibility. And I know that you have been doing it for 12 years now, 11 years?
This is, my 11th year.
And you love it.
I love my job. And I just, it's all about students being in a safe and healthy environment so they can learn. So it's all about the kids and their families. The health piece is kind of my forte and my love, and some of these other things have been added on, but it all fits together, and it's all about creating a healthy and safe environment for kids.
And you, with your team, came up with the learning support model.
Yes.
What it is?
Learning support model is sort of our foundation on how we put all these services and things together. So the majority of children come to school ready to learn. They have had a good night's sleep, they have had breakfast, they have had if they need medication that's been given to them, they have the right clothing to wear for the season, they've got their school supplies, all those things are taken care of. And they come to school ready to learn, and so they can sit in the classroom, receive the instruction, and they're going to be doing okay. But we have a portion of our population, and this is everywhere across the country, across the world, where these children have barriers to learning that might be, maybe they didn't have a place to sleep that night before, or they were doubled up with another family and they had to sleep on the floor, or there wasn't enough food in the house for everybody to have breakfast, or they don't have health insurance and the parents couldn't afford to pay for their medications that month. They maybe can't get an eye exam and they don't have glasses, or they don't have the right clothing for winter. Or they have mental health issues, or there's substance abuse or mental health issues in the home. I mean, the list goes on and on. So these kids are in our schools as well, and our teachers are expected to teach them, those children as well, but they have these barriers. They're not quite ready to be engaged when they sit down in their classroom every morning. So we have put in place what we call learning supports, sort of extra things, extra services to help these students and families overcome these barriers. And it's a gamut. We have family resource centers where we have student and family advocates, and that's a social work model where we have social workers that are helping. We have the school nurses that are helping and giving medication to kids at school and helping parents access the resources and teaching staff about health needs of kids. We have our guidance counselors that are very involved in all of this. We work through what we call student support teams. So in each building, there's a group that includes the student and family advocates, the school nurse, the school counselor, the administrators, some teachers that get together on a regular basis and identify these students that have these barriers. And they look at the kids that maybe aren't attending as often as they should, or their grades are they're failing grades, or they've had a change in their achievement. They're sleeping in class. They come to the health office frequently during the day because they don't feel well. So we have these student support teams that are identifying these kids and then working together as a team in how we can support the families, if the families would like that assistance, of course. And the bottom line is we want these kids to achieve.
And you have these health-based clinics.
Yes.
That deal with not only the regular medicaments or medications, but deals as well with psychiatric problem, right?
Yes.
Where it is located, how can kids be referred to it?
Yep. It's called the Healthy Kids School-Based Clinics. They started back in 2007. It's a true community collaboration. We have support from the University of Iowa Hospitals. Mercy has started an endowment for us, which we reached $1.2 million. And the clinics are Tuesdays at Northwest Junior High, Thursdays at Southeast Junior High. Parents or the older children can contact the clinic directly, or they can be referred through the student support teams, through school staff, like the school nurses or the student family advocates. It is free medical care to uninsured, underinsured, or people who are brand new to town maybe and don't have a doctor. We're here to fill a gap, and our goal then is to meet any immediate medical needs or psychiatric needs, and then help the family access the resources within the community. So help them get signed up for Hawkeye, which is the state children's health insurance plan, or Medicaid, or if maybe they have another insurance provider but they just don't really know how to use it. And help them access and find a medical home, a local physician that they could receive their primary care from. But the clinic also offers psychiatric care, which is just started 2 years ago. So we have a child psychiatrist in the clinic 2 mornings a month, which from the University of Iowa, which has been very helpful because it is a 4 to 6 month wait to get an appointment at child psychiatry. So there's often situations where a child needs to be seen or evaluated by a psychiatrist quickly. And so we can get them into our clinic within just a few weeks. And then last year we started with a child psychiatry resident who actually is in our schools 1 day a week, doing some learning, but also some counseling and seeing students.
Field training plus service.
Yes, that's right, field training plus service.
Wow.
And that's been a recent addition. It's an elective through the psychiatry residency program.
So what's children's aid program? Is it part of this whole scenario or separate?
The school children's aid.
Yeah.
That is separate. That was started back in, I think, like the late 50s. And it's a United Way agency. It's called Joan Buxton School Children's Aid Program. It was named after Joan Buxton, who was a longtime school nurse who often went above and beyond. And that is a program that will help fund resources. So we have vouchers for tennis shoes, for example, vouchers for winter clothing and clothes. We will help families pay for medications, glasses, school supplies, medical supplies if they can't afford them or don't have insurance. So it's a separate program, but it also works very closely with the Healthy Kids Clinic.
Susie, do you have any collaboration with Area Education Agency 10 or that whole program is separate?
That is separate. That really serves our special education students.
Okay.
But we work together to make sure that the needs of our special education students are met. But it's a separate program.
So there is no
state-funded.
duplication or overlap of service.
No, not at all.
That was my intention of the question,
Yeah.
just to make sure that we and well, add to this list, to this inventory list, we have the juvenile court responsibility too. Talk to me about this.
Yeah. I can't take much credit. Joan Vandenberg, who's our director of, or our coordinator of youth and family service, or youth and family development, sorry, has very, very instrumental in working with juvenile courts. We actually have what's called a core management team, and it's a group of, it's our secondary administrators, it's Joan, it's our equity director, and it's representation from juvenile court, the police departments, the county, and working together to make sure that when we're serving kids who are at risk or maybe have gotten in trouble through the court system, that we're all working together to serve these kids. And so that we're consistent in their plan, and that we also identify these kids too. So it's a great collaboration. So we have juvenile court advocates that work with which work with the schools, and just making sure that these kids who have been involved in juvenile courts or are involved, that we can help support them so they can still be successful students and graduate.
You told me earlier that there were about 296 referred cases to the clinic.
Yeah.
That's amazing number.
For psychiatric care.
Right.
It actually was that many visits.
Oh.
It was around, this was just last year, around 80 students were referred for psychiatric care.
Referred. So it's not like voluntary, they go by
No,
them. Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. They were referred and seen in the clinic.
Ah, okay.
And of course, we have to have parental consent to serve the children in our clinic. We ask that parents attend the appointments if at all possible, but often they can, and that's the beauty of school-based health services. So we get the parental consent and all the information, and if parents can't get off work, then our school staff will bring them to the clinic, and we ask that parents be available by phone. So that's one of the benefits of school-based services, having them on site, is that our school staff can be more involved and get them to the clinic. So yeah, so we served 80 unduplicated students in the psychiatric clinic last year, and then 196 visits, and that's just twice when you think about 2 mornings a month.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite a bit.
So now you have what's called the 21st century programs.
Yes.
Can you simplify it to
Yes.
us?
So 21st Century Learning Communities is an extended day program, and these are federal grants, and it's available to elementary schools who have 40% free and reduced lunch or more. And so we have 4 schools that have these programs, and they're after-school programs and summer programs. And these are children who are referred by the teacher because of academic concerns. And the idea of the program is that we extend the curriculum from the day into after school or in the summer to try to bring them up to grade level achievement or abilities. And we, along with that component, there's sort of activities, fun activities. So there's the curriculum, there's some fun activities, and there's also a great emphasis on health, which includes nutrition and physical activity. So it's a collaboration. We have Iowa State Extension is involved, and Children's Museum, and other agencies are there helping us. So that has been a great program, and we have seen great progress in these children, and as far as their academic progress is made.
Now, let us before we go to the video and look at the activities as a life experience, I would like to ask you about your personal life. I mean, you have time for home. I know your kids graduated, right?
Yep.
How many kids do you have?
I have
And,
two
tell me
boys.
something about your husband and
All right.
about, yeah.
Well, my husband comes from Britain, but he's been at
Is
university.
that why the accent?
Yeah,
is a little
can
bit,
you hear
yeah.
it?
A little bit, a little bit.
Can you?
A man with an accent can detect accents
That's
easily.
funny. He was looking for an Iowa farm girl, so
Yeah.
he came to Iowa City. And so, anyway, he's retired from the University of Iowa.
From where in England?
He's from Devonshire,
Okay.
down by Cornwall. And he is a botany professor, or was a botany professor. He's retired, actually, from the University of Iowa.
So you have a beautiful garden, huh?
I do have a beautiful garden, actually, yes, and he hybridizes daylilies. That's his hobby. We do, we have a great flower garden. We have two boys, and they're both City High graduates, and our oldest is currently his first year in graduate school at MIT, studying electrical and computer engineering. He graduated from the University of Colorado, Boulder, in May of this year, and then our youngest is a sophomore at UNI, studying finance.
And nobody is following your footsteps or dad's footsteps.
Yeah, you know, actually our oldest really is looking at academics and wants to teach
and
at the university level and do research. So he's following in his dad's footsteps. I know, I couldn't convince them to go medicine or nursing or anything like that, but they're good kids.
Now, a couple of quick questions that were not in a script here.
That's okay.
But I mean, you have the right not to answer them. But I have had a couple of people who knew that we are going to meet today, and they wanted me to ask you about your idea about sex education in schools.
Oh yeah.
And what is the best way to deal with this issue without getting into controversial? I have had, my daughter was in junior high and she studied, and as a matter of fact, I feel that it did help her a lot. And opened her eyes on facts rather than mythology. And I think it added to her maturity level.
Oh, that's good.
A lot.
That's excellent.
So, but I'm not going to let my bias in this area affect the objectivity. What do you think about the best way that we can convince our community that this has more pros than cons?
Well, I think it's 2014. If anybody has turned on a television or a computer in the last 10 years, they can see that sex is talked about. You know, we see it in our television shows and everywhere. So our children are actually quite desensitized. We also know that through surveys that about 50% of our high school students, juniors in high schools, are having sex. So it's time that we just be honest and upfront and factual.
I mean, we cross this denial stage
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Yep. And what we try to do through our health curriculum is do that. Talk about the facts and talk about sexual identity.
Risks
and risks.
Danger.
Yes, and dangers.
Infectious diseases.
Exactly. All of
venereal,
that. All of that. And ways to prevent pregnancy, ways to prevent getting sexual diseases. So we just put it out there, non-judgmental, and put the facts out there. We do let parents know that this is what we're going to be teaching, and they do have the right to have their child not attend those particular classes. However, like you say, I think it's very beneficial for the students, and also then they can have some discussion among their peers if they're comfortable too, and that's very good. Our health teachers at the junior high and high school level are very knowledgeable and very upfront about all of this, so they present it in a great way. They also emphasize the relationship, the good thing, you know, how to have positive relationships and how to protect your own emotional health through all this too. So it's not just the physical aspect, but also the emotional association.
Now the second part of our conversation, of course, I have to thank you very much for a wonderful, wonderful presentation.
Oh, thank you.
And you are one of the best who can put all the things in a little tablet. Maybe because of your profession in medicine, but you make it so simple for me and the audience to understand this complicated, very complex function that you do every day. In the meantime, I would like you to tell me what we are going to watch now.
Okay. So we have a video that we put together that tells the audience all about the Healthy Kids Clinic. And we did this with the help of the Community Foundation of Johnson County, where we have our endowment. And it explains what the clinic is. We have people interviewed who have either served in the clinic or have been served by the clinic. And then there's also a information on how you could support the clinic if you so desire, because we are funded completely by donations and grants. And United Way has been a great funder. They have provided funding every year for operational expenses, and then we have the endowment at the Community Foundation, and we have some little grants that we get here and there. So if people are interested in providing financial support, you'll learn that from the video.
Let us extend an invitation to the community. Our community is very generous
when
it comes to education, and I wish somebody will jump now and write a check.
Me too.
But,
but that's okay.
In the meantime, we are going to set you free on condition that you promise us that you're going to come back again and then talk to our audience again. It has been a delight meeting you, and of course, this to our audience, this show can be watched on Public Access TV website. You can watch it on the Education Channel. That's now in some areas of the city on channel 18 and 21. In certain high definition transmission, it's on channel 118.6 and 118.7. So both channels, and this is of course Mediacom responsibility. And we are on YouTube as usual. Every episode is there, so we'll be there probably in a couple of hours, into maybe 48 hours, 24 hours we'll be there. And Susie, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And wish all your success, and your kids and your husband. And next time, bring us some flowers here.
All right, I will do that.
Some tulips or
You'll
whatever.
have to have me come earlier than November then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, with Susie production here.
The Healthy Kids Community Care is a school-based healthcare clinic that provides medical, dental, vision, and mental health services to children without health insurance or with other barriers to accessing health care. The clinic began in 2007 and has served over 1,400 students.
We have had enormous support from various aspects of the community, from pharmacies, from ophthalmologists, optometrists, doctors of many specialties who want to help because they have a close realization as healthcare providers that there is indeed a need. And that is something I think a lot of people who live in our community don't realize.
Healthy Kids Community Care was developed in 2007 to help fill a gap of unmet needs of our students in the school district. Since that time, we have served over 1,500 children, ages 0 to 18, to provide free medical, dental, and mental health services.
The clinic is held 2 times per week with locations at Northwest and Southeast junior highs. The programs are open to all children in Johnson County through graduation age. The clinic is staffed by 2 pediatricians, a pediatric nurse practitioner, a child psychiatrist, and the clinic coordinator. Why a school-based program?
I think the real advantage of a school-based clinic is that a school is perceived as a safe place by parents. So families that are sort of just figuring out how to use the medical system or are from another country and they're uncertain about how to access things, they feel very comfortable coming to the school. We also can interact with all of the resources that the schools have in place, the family resource workers, the school nurses, teachers, counselors. It's really of benefit to help children whose families don't have the resources and sometimes don't know where to begin.
Benefits to students and families.
We Family Resource Center help the families to get the students to the clinic. And first they call the clinic, and it can be a referral from a teacher, a coach, a parent. There's a lot of people involved in the student's health. So when they come to me as a family resource person, I call the school clinic and I ask to help them make a referral. And this can be for children who doesn't have insurance or they are new to the school district and they don't know where to find a referral. So the first thing that they do is to come to the school and find out, and then we talk to them about the school clinic.
The school clinic helped us arrange the necessary primary health care and gave them a checkup. It's to say that the school clinic helps to make sure my children are healthy. They can take advantage of the days at school, and they are able to learn more at school. And that way, they don't get ill, and they can continue with their studies. These are some of the benefits I've seen at the clinic.
We didn't have insurance since we just moved here, really, and I wanted to do sports, and so did my brother, so we needed to get our physical. So we came to the school health clinic and did that.
I had an earache and a fever for a couple of days, and my dad had just lost his job, so we didn't have health insurance anymore. My mom had heard about the school clinic from the school nurse. And I saw the doctor at the clinic, and she gave me medication, which made me feel way better.
I'd been to the regular doctor for a physical, and I needed some booster shots. It was a really small appointment, so my mom couldn't get off work, and so I got them at the student clinic instead. Now I'm vaccinated and my mom doesn't miss work.
Over 1,200 students received school-based mental health counseling, psychiatric services, and/or mental health case management in 2012-2013. The most common mental health conditions affecting students are depression and anxiety.
I feel so fortunate to have this opportunity to have the services here in the school because it brings our care to where the children are throughout their day. This is where they live. This is where it affords me an opportunity to collaborate with other individuals that are working with these children. So the extra information is vital, and probably foremost is what it does to enhance access to mental health treatment for these kids.
Community partners.
You know, it sounded like a program where there was definitely a need for eye care. These people coming from, other regions, having, maybe some cultural and language barriers, and if they had a vision impairment on top of that, that could really stand in the way of their being successful. Over 80% of learning is through your visual system, so if these kids can't see in the classroom, that, in addition to the other factors, they're at a huge disadvantage.
Get involved.
The needs of our children in this school district are not going to go away. I would urge everyone who's viewing this presentation to give strong consideration to helping us ensure the viability of Healthy Kids Community Care school-based healthcare clinics.